And welcome to Stoke the Fire. I'm Susie Mazzoli. My partner on the other channel is Pamela Cuccinell, and that was my friend Nutmeg, my new puppy. That's my dear little puppy Nutmeg, who will quieten down for us. And she gives us the astrological forecast for the week, and then I provide the meditation activation in a brief turbo boost, energetic 10 minutes. You can find us at stokethefire.guru. Maybe Pam, you should take over.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna take over now while Susie quiets Nutmeg down. But so stokethefire.guru is where you can find out about how to be a subscriber, because what we do for our subscribers is we send them the encapsulated essence of the astrology forecast, about 20 minutes of what's coming up for the week. And then Susie provides the guided energetic meditation that gets you actualized so you can really embrace and make the most of that coming week. And when she does that, of course, Nutmeg won't be making a dog chorus in the background. For one reason or another, Nutmeg usually soothes out as we talk, but right now she's all over herself with excitement. And part of the reason, of course, is that Susie just got back from France. So because she was away doing her learning and beginning experience as she maps out guidance for this trip she's taking people on in April, which I'm sure she'll tell you about, Nutmeg was without Mom for over a week. So we can see why Nutmeg is highly excited to be back in Susie's energetic sphere. Susie, can you talk a little about your trip coming up?
Sure, yes. I was in France now doing the research in southern France, the Pyrenees area, Languedoc area, and we are doing a spiritual journey for about a week in France in April 14th to the 20th. And I'll be taking a small group. Usually we take between 10 and 20 people on these trips. We go to France, we go to Peru, we go to Nepal. We've got a trip into Peru coming up in the middle of this year, 2018, and a trip also to Nepal planned for 2019. Going to Kathmandu and to the Himalayas, and also a trip coming up to Italy for a yoga and meditation retreat, and that'll be in the fall of 2018, and also a trip for meditation and healing to Costa Rica. So this trip to France is to explore the Languedoc region, which is apparently where Mary Magdalene and the family lived. If any of you have ever followed the Holy Grail type of stories, we'll be exploring the Cathars, medieval, beautiful ruins of churches and abbeys and castles. And we'll be also looking at the Knights Templar, a little bit into the Freemasons, and going back, way back into the Isis cult. The land itself is absolutely amazing. I had such a beautiful time climbing mountains, and it was also very cold there too. And I'm very grateful to all the wonderful people that I met there and that showed us many of the secret caves and the initiation rites and things. And if you're interested to join us, I actually have 2 spots left only for this trip to France, but we'll do it again. Please contact me at susiemazzoli-healer.com. And this is our first of the year 2018 program, so let's jump into it, Pam. I can't wait to hear what's happening this incredible first week of January 2018.
And it is an incredible first week of January 2018. Susie and I will talk on a more expanded version of 2018, probably on our January 8th call. But because she's just come back from France and I'm getting over the holiday spin, it'll be a better forecast in a week to do the larger version. Also, for people who are interested in just astrology, pretty intense mapping out the year, I'll be doing a overall forecast as well. And there's a couple of dates that I'll be offering that. So I'll put that information out. You can find out about that on insightoasis.com, my website. Also, I might put it on stokethefire.guru, as well as Susie's upcoming trips. I can't quite keep up with her world tours. But anyway, so January 1st, 2018 begins with a supermoon. Now, one of the things that is outstanding about the month of January in 2018 is that the month is bookended by supermoons. Now that word supermoon was initially coined by an astrologer actually on the internet, which basically means it's a time when the moon is closest to the earth. We call it perigee, when the moon is very close physically to the earth. So depending on where you are on the planet, it can appear huge from your perspective. So that was where the phrase, the coining of the word supermoon first began, and now it's all over the net, and astronomers use it as well. So this particular full moon is in the sign of Cancer, and because full moons are always the opposite sign that the sun is in, and the sun is presently in the sign of Capricorn. So the moon is being lit by the Capricorn sun. Now, there's a configuration in the sky that occurs with this particular supermoon, when it is exact, that is what we call a kite. So astrology uses geometry. Basically, we flatten the heavens into a 360-degree circle, and we look at how that works geometrically, how planets or the sun and moon or other heavenly bodies relate to one another on a geometric frame. And when you have a kite, it actually is a configuration where planets are doing what we call trining, so they're in harmonious relationship to one another, and sextiles, also harmonious relationship to one another. But there's also an opposition, which is basically the spine of the kite. And in this case, the spine of the kite is the full moon itself. Now, this full moon has an extra kind of intense energy around it because the planet Venus is very close to the sun at this point in time. And Pluto, way, way back out in space, is also in alignment with the sun at this point in time. So that's a pretty intense configuration, and I'm about to explain why. Venus is how we, what attracts us. It's how we reflect or show what we want to bring into our realm. It also signifies money and our relationship with money, because Venus has to do with how we value, what we value. Pluto has to do with death and irrevocable transformation and power. Pluto was the god of the underworld. So what Pluto represents is pieces of ourself that is deep in the subconscious, and also where we find wealth and power from the inner realms. It can also be how people manipulate those things. And one thing we know for sure is that money and the system that money is something that is very orchestrated, manipulated, calculated, and planned by forces bigger than your week-to-week paycheck or however you make money. So when Venus and Pluto are together, in general, they tend to mean what is intensely obsessing you about something you value or something you're attracted to. So that can be a love relationship. It can also be something that is captivating you that you really, really want. And in the case of things like money and power, it can be something that is potentially not so great, the way we get kind of seduced into it, manipulated into it, or swept into it. So when we see this in a horoscope that basically is showing an umbrella of what's happening globally, it can indicate things that are occurring behind the scenes to, well, one might speculate, manipulate an economy, or do things that are trying to win or garner things in a certain favor. Now, the other planets involved in this kite configuration are Mars and Jupiter. Mars and Jupiter are traveling very close to one another now in the sign of Scorpio. And Jupiter in Scorpio has a tendency to reveal things, like what is it that we're going into the subterranean depths to pull up and get information, gold, revelatory information from. With Mars, it's very aggressive. It's very pushing out. So we can expect to see lots of things in the media news over the next several weeks. And people might be thinking, oh God, this is not a New Year's thing I really want to hear about, because every day it's like things seem to be revealed and coming out in the news. But this is information that is pieces that give us things that can either feed the fire of what really promotes and makes that how we can use power and money in a way that's very dynamic. It can also kind of explode certain things so that stuff is revealed to let more information in. The last planet that's involved in this kite is Neptune, and Neptune is the higher octave of Venus. So if Venus is an expression of love, what we're attracted to in love, what attracts us with what we value, Neptune is the higher octave, how we're all connected in this great universal and unconscious. So the message of this super moon in Cancer is, what do you love? How do you love it? What makes you feel like it's home for you? What are your values with family and what you nest? And most importantly, what are your values with the very land, earth, that you are a part of? What is your biologic connection? So what do you feel insofar as your connection with the big part of the universal unconscious, the big soup that we're all connected to? And the more at peace and harmonious you are with that, the gentler the waves, the less intense the tumult. And I think one of the messages as we go into 2018, which is it's an 11 year. Yes, it distills down to a 2, but it's an 11 first. 11 is one of the master numbers. It's the gateway number. It's the portal number. So are we willing, are we able to make this a year where we are masters? Or are we walking into a year where we're going to let ourselves continue to be at the throes and wherever we're going with media or what people say? So it's really important as we look at this supermoon that's a kite to decide, are we soaring with the kite? Or are we just going to let it fly and get lost in the winds? Are we holding on to one piece of it that is anchored like a plumb line to the core of the earth, feeling connected to the earth, to the land on which we are part of? Because what are the true wealth and riches that are in the core of the earth? And the true wealth and riches come back to the core of self as well. So I know this is a long message about New Year's Day, but New Year's Day is this year a day of reflection. Now, as we go into the second continues this energy of New Year's Day, but it also talks a lot about switches and changes that can happen very, very fast and literally make it feel as though the earth is moving under your feet. Uranus goes station direct. So that means it changes position from the retrograde it appears to be going to moving forward. When Uranus goes station direct, oftentimes there is something that happens on the global stage that brings our attention to things. Now, once again, you may feel like every day is like that these days. Whatever it's about what is the call, what is the piece that's asking for revolution and change, because we are in a period of tremendous revolution and change that may feel like chaos, but only through that do we get to points of stability. So Tuesday may feel very, very disruptive. So the more grounded and centered you are after Monday's meditation and just reflection, the easier it will be to weather whatever is presented on Tuesday. The moon goes void, of course, at 5:46 p.m. on Tuesday. And for people who are new to hear me speak, when the moon goes void, of course, we're in a period where people are less attached to outcome. So anything you really need to get done or stated or out into the world, do it before 5:46 p.m., even though my caveat is it's a very volatile time on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we get into very different energy. The moon enters the sign of Leo at 2:22 a.m. All the times I give are Eastern time. So please adjust depending on where you are on the planet. The other thing to be aware of is that on Wednesday, there's a picture in the sky between Venus and Neptune. There's a lot of very strong, loving energy that's around the month of January. Yes, there's a lot of things, as I talked about how someone might try to use that or manipulate it a certain way. But as long as you're really in sync and really, really in touch with what feels like loving energy, you're going to be totally okay with whatever else might be happening behind the scenes. And what's important to keep in mind is that when you're okay, when you're working on loving energy and focused in a way that has to do with what can I give, how can I receive, how can I keep balanced, then you are setting up really good vibration that has exponential effects. You can see how things that are messages that are more fearful or angry have exponential effect. So that's why it's really important to counterbalance it with loving energy and meditative work that keeps you centered in spite of all the crazy chaos around us. So Wednesday, with that moon in the sign of Leo, we're in a real power surge. Leo is a fire sign. It's what we call fixed energy. It's how we can really stay with an idea or a thought that we can carry in a direction that we'd like to carry it. So it's a really, really good day, Wednesday and Thursday, to be getting things off the ground that you really want to be getting things out there. Really good time to connect with people, build things that have to do with community, anything you do that has to do with community action, social justice, communications, if you work in a internet or computer capacity, all really, really strong. Creative voice, very, very strong over these couple of days. The moon goes void, of course, at 6:10 p.m. on Thursday evening, and it's void until 3:12 a.m., very early in the wee hours of Friday morning. At that point in time, it enters the sign of Virgo. And this sets up a couple of days that may feel a bit like being in a rock and a hard place, trying to push something uphill. Um, I think Friday is a good day to be doing things that are, you know, their work and you want to implement them. So exercise, diet, things that need to be done because they need to get off your desk, um, things that you can just sort of move from step to step to step to step, and don't get like thrown that things just feel a little not immediate rewards coming through. But what's really essentially important is that you're careful with communications. Anything that's written out, anything that's sent, anything that is a conversation that's had, make sure that people really understand or parrot back what you think was conveyed, because the details are where all the beauty and positive energy is over the next few days. If you're not paying attention to the details, things can very easily unravel and not go where you thought they would. So details like painstaking, you're doing certain yoga positions and how you hold your foot. If you're not holding it the way you need to be holding your foot, it's not so good for your ankles. So it's things like that, the little detail things that are so important in order to get the thing launched the way you want it to do. Saturday, similar energy, but it's going to move much, much faster. It's like everything clicks as though a machine, which is why it's even more important to make sure that the details were attended to and the messages were correctly conveyed, and that if you're following directions that you get all the little nuances that the electronic guide is trying to tell you. The moon goes void, of course, at 9:51 p.m. And at that point in time, it is a great evening to just kind of do the things you need to do to tidy up, sweep up, put things in place, and just relax. Just do a long relaxation session, just whatever's necessary to let your body feel like it's getting taken care of. Actually, anything you do this late evening that is to therapeutically restore your body, it magnifies. So definitely do that. Bath, massage, sleep, all really good. The moon enters the sign of Libra at 7:14 a.m. and on Sunday, the 7th, until the next time we talk, which will be Monday. And that day, Sunday, is the day when dynamic conversations really start to unfold in a much more direct and systematic way. So if this first week of January, especially the beginning and the end of the week, felt like you were hitting certain impasses or places where things weren't moving as quickly as you would like, that changes on Sunday. It's as though every conversation, the door opens. Every conversation, the connection gets made. So have those conversations. Do not wall yourself up. Get in places and environments where you can meet, connect, and be with people. If you're a person who works by herself or yourself in studio, office, desk, then have those conversations with yourself, because it's as though the inspiration light just pours right in. And so you want to invite it, welcome it, and let it be a part of what you'd like to unfold. So now I'm going to see if Susie is ready.
Pam, it sounds like the year of 2018 is starting off with quite a powerful, energetic ripple, so to speak. And I really like the idea of number 11. And in fact, when I was in France now, I bought a sticker for my car which has the Cathars. It has Cathar and then the Templars, the Knights Templar cross, and the number 11, because number 11 is the number of the district for Rennes-le-Château, which is the famous place where apparently there is some sort of treasure that has been buried, where most of my trip centers around. It's a part of a very sacred place. So number 11 for me, the master number, is so important. And I really do see this year coming up as a lot of us entering into our mastership, into that confident part of ourselves where we really can do our work and can really allow ourselves to come up into that higher level where we're not so sort of steeped in the materialism. So I would like to do our meditation on that gateway which you spoke about. How does that sound?
Sounds wonderful.
Great. Okay. So I invite everybody who has been with us before and everyone new who's with us. It's wonderful to see lots of new people joining us every week. Let's go now into our meditation, and we do 10 minutes. And as we go into this meditation, I invite you to close your eyes and to just feel that energy shifting as we move into it. And I have to say, this is my first activation meditation that I'm doing since I've returned from France. So it might be a little bit Pyreneesian, so to speak. Okay, off we go. Dear loved ones, we are the master teachers. We welcome you to this new year, or this, what you seem to celebrate as the beginning of a new year for the first month of 2018. We're entering the year of number 11. Enter this year now, dear loved ones, as a gateway. Recognize that everything has come before this has all been a teaching, whether it's good or bad, happy or sad, whatever has happened in the past now. Allow all of that information now to accumulate and to integrate anything that you have released. Pick up all those pieces now and let them come to you as pieces of wisdom, pieces of really, really hard-earned human life experience. Allow it to come in as wisdom, as pure wisdom on the human level. And then as you're picking up all of those pieces, feel that this now is like a real step, for some a quantum leap, a really big step now into a new level of being, a new level of thinking, a new way of experiencing humanity. And understand now that not only you yourself, all of the people around you, but the planet itself, in fact, the whole galaxy, the sun, everything that is here in this so-called quadrant or area of the universe now is beginning to enter into this dynamic shift. So what you have been in the past, what you have seen yourself as, what you have convinced yourself that you are in the past, allow all of that to just be what it is, and now step it up. Step it way up into who am I, what am I doing, and what can I do now that can really bring about dynamic, really creative, resourceful, spiritual growth for myself and for everyone around me. What can I do? What can I do to come into a place of absolute and ultimate compassion? What can I do now to come into a place of such clarity, such immense clarity, that No more can I be deceived or manipulated or have the wool pulled up over my eyes. How can I really develop that X-ray vision that I can see straight through things, people, situations, and know exactly what to do, know exactly what my place is and what my role is, and how I can be of the utmost benefit in that very moment, not only to everybody around me, but also to that higher self that I am. So when you come into this place, you recognize that you're stepping away from what might be self-sabotage, and you'll also feel that there is a lot of fear that becomes dissolved. The fear dissolves into the pool of wisdom. And now each and every one of you is becoming more fearless, definitely more courageous, and more able to take on the big guys, to take on all of the big situations, and to really find what is the best solution here. This is a massive time now of resolution, no longer of one pitted against the other, but of what is for the highest good of all. It's a great time of finding creative resolutions, creative solutions that perhaps have never even been considered before, because there is an opening in the energy field that allows for many different layers of perception to exist, so that people are able to find new ways of being, new ways of existing, new ways of literally of creating happiness for themselves. So it really is a period now for you individually and for the planet to find very, let us say, very almost unperceived of before ideas or things that are so different and so new, but they can only come in if there is an openness to say, okay, what can I do now to serve for the highest good, for the greatest good? And as this opening comes, then all of these new ideas are allowed not to come in from the outside. No, no, no. This is all coming from within. They erupt from within. It is as if the lid is taken off, the lid made of fear and protection and resentment and greed and materialism. That lid dissolves into the wisdom and compassion, and then all of these wonderful ideas and resolutions and things that are really down to earth and productive can come up. New ways of feeding people, new ways of technology, new ways of artistry, new ways of energy. All of these things are now coming out, and they come out because the earth is in this massive time of let us simply call it being in love. We like this very much. Everything now is in this energy of being in love. And when you are being in love, there is an excitement, there is a newness, there is a freshness. The heart is fluttering, the hormones are flooding through the body. There is a joy to be alive. There is a joy of exploration, a joy of sharing, a joy of being in community. And this, dear loved ones, is what we wish you for the new year, that you are able to allow this joy of life, this joy of, wow, if I can do this and do that and explore this and explore that, and it might be in your own backyard, it might be in the middle of Central Park, it might be in the middle of the Himalayas, it might be in the middle of your heart, dear loved ones. It can be inside your body, outside your body, inside the mind, what you perceive as being outside the mind. But this truly is a year of wonderful exploration, of allowing the spirit and the soul to expand into so many uncharted, so-called uncharted territories. and to explore the richness of humanity and the richness of your own soul and the diversity and vastly complicated and complex universe that you live in. So fascinating and interesting. So if you are feeling any ennui or boredom or apathy, allow that now just to melt, the depression just to melt back into your heart center, and allow it to erupt now into freedom and liberation and into joy, enthusiasm, excitement. Whatever is happening in the world, what role can you play? Whatever is happening in your backyard, what are you doing? To really allow yourself to be in dynamic, active exploration of life. And as you feel that excitement of this fantastic year that is now unfolding, you will see the chaos and you will see the destruction and you will see the goodness and the happiness, and you will see everything erupting around you, and you will know that you have an active role to play in everything that is good here in your life and on your planet. And feel this energy now. And as you feel this energy, we invite you to share this with others around you, to share this excitement of life and this excitement of exploration of humanity, of the human soul, and of the greatness, the absolute special and uniqueness of this, your human life. And with this, dear loved ones, let us increase the frequencies, feel the joy of life. Thank you, are the master teachers, and we are complete. Wow, well, that sounds like a lot of fun this year. Whew. It really does feel like it's going to be a super duper year.
It is a super duper year. It is. I think I just see it as being more of an action and collaboration year than this 2017 was. 2017 was kind of getting acclimated to the fact that nothing is ever going to be the same again. And now it's a matter of, what are we going to do with that? And how are we going to bloom from it? So anyway, that's Stoke the Fire Guru, what you just heard with me doing the astrology and Susie just bringing in that very dynamic energy boost in tandem with what she gets from the master teachers. So you can find out more about what we do on stokethefire.guru. What we do individually, I see people as an astrologer, especially people who are ready to transform and take their lives to a place that is more conscious unfolding. So we can do that with astrology and tarot. And I work with people ongoing or in a just one-time basis. Also have some programs coming up. You can find out about me on insightoasis.com. And if Susie is back on the planet, maybe she can just give a few words about where you can find her as well. So happy 2018, Susie.
Back on the planet, back in the planet. Yes, you can reach me at susiemazzoli-healer.com for private sessions in New York City, or for sessions by Skype. Also, we have a new course starting at the Art of Energetic Healing School in January in New York, energyhealingschoolny.com, where you can join us for 1 year. We do one class per month with teachings in metaphysics, energy healing, spiritual work, meditation. We go through the body and do chakra healing. and all the information is up there, energyhealingschoolny.com, or you can join the school in Los Angeles. We'll be teaching in LA this year, 2018. We'll be teaching 4 weekend workshops over the course of the year with webinars in between. So if you'd like to study with me, I would love to talk to you. Contact me through the website and we can set up an interview. And I am so excited to be here on this planet again for another year with my dear friend Pamela Cuccinell and with all our dear friends on YouTube and Stoke the Fire, and wishing everyone a happy new year.
Happy New Year. All right. And as Susie would say, or usually says, she says love now, but I can see
I can say.
You can say it.
And of course, love now. My new CD. This is CD number 5, actually. And I'm so, so happy to have it out. This is my front cover. And this is in my studio at home where I'm working with the bowls. And this is the inside of my new CD. And this is moi, straight back from France, right? This is moi, and this CD actually is me playing 80 Himalayan bowls, and these are all handmade bowls that I get from Kathmandu. And if you're actually interested in purchasing bowls, please contact me. I have amazing, amazing connections for beautiful bowls. I've been working with some bowl makers now for 20 years, bringing bowls into America. And we can also send them all over the world. And on this CD, I'm actually playing 80 bowls, and I've divided up into 7 different tracks for the 7 chakras. And so it goes from the very deep bowls going up to the lighter bowls. They're all about more or less about 8 minutes long, with the crown chakra being a little bit shorter so that you have some time in silence as well. And it's just Himalayan bowls. And I produced this CD. It was mixed and produced with Stephen George from Gimme That Sound, who's worked with great big mega stars like R. Kelly and Beyonce and people like that, a Grammy award-winning producer. And Stephen decided to mix this CD so it's very live sound, so you can hear it. It's a live performance. It's not at all digitized or cleaned up, so it's very pure and great sound. So fantastic for meditation and for healing work, and also really good for example, if you are a massage therapist or you're working with people to play in the background. And of course, the master teachers have imbued their energy in it, so it's really strong. So if you'd like to get a copy, it's going to be very shortly out on CD Baby for downloads, and it's also available through my website, susanrizzoli-healer.com. So I hope you will enjoy it, and let me know what you think, folks. I'd love to get your input. So thank you so much to James Porto for the photography, and to all the people that have helped me make this CD, Stephen George, Eleanor Obanyi for the design, and thanks to my daughter, Una Flynn, Chris Bowman, and Jennifer Boylan and Brooke Henderson for all their support. So 7 chakras, healing meditations, 80 bowls played by Susan Rizzoli. Thank you.